Hello gamers, Mage Hammer here for another edition of Tonight on Mage Hammer's Game Table, where tonight I am continuing my series, maybe concluding my series, featuring the Tiny D6 system with Tiny Cthulhu. It's October after all, so that is the horror month. So we're going to be playing a horror RPG, my favorite horror RPG actually, Tiny Cthulhu, by Bahr, and published by Gallant Games. This is the Kickstarter edition. I got this nice hardcover edition of the Kickstarter, and this also came with Kickstarter, the paper softback, and this game screen also came with the Kickstarter. So without further ado, let's get into this session 0. Now, session 0 is going to be a little bit different since this is so far into my Tiny D6 series, and I know some of you may be coming to this episode first, but I suggest you go back and watch some of my other ones. You already know how to create a character in Tiny Cthulhu. I have several pre-generated characters that I've created for campaigns that I play people when I play with people face-to-face. So what I decided to do was, since I already have these made up, I'm going to randomly determine which ones are going to be in the party for this adventure. And then, based on who ends up in that party, I have chosen from the side quest deck for Lovecraftian and Paranormal 50 plus adventure outlines and map cards by Inkwell Ideas. I have chosen 4 adventures that I think fit my kind of adventure that I like to play in. So depending on what kind of spread of investigators we get from the randomness, I will determine which of the scenarios that we will be seeing in this campaign. So I think I'll hold off telling you what those adventures are, and you'll see that one of them is going to be chosen for the adventure going forward in the next episode. So first of all, let me tell you a little bit about Tiny Cthulhu. Since I'm not making a character, in case this is your first time here with Tiny Cthulhu, let's take a look. All right, so Tiny D6 uses 3d6. Standard test takes 2 dice, disadvantage takes 1 die, and advantage is 3 dice, and you have to roll 5 or 6 on any of the dice, and that is a success. This game, if you've seen my other series of Tiny Cthulhu, I played the pulp version. I'm playing straight up horror version the way this was being intended. So there'll be no grit, there will be no dramatic knockouts. That's what we got. So the investigator archetypes that are listed as investigator, dilettante, explorer, writer, mystic, spiritualist, and inventor, soldier, and veteran. I have a mix of those in my pre-generated characters, and we'll be taking a look at those. And basically, when you create a character, you take your archetype, you put in the number of hit points, corruption threshold. Corruption is the sanity mechanic in Tiny Cthulhu. And what you do is you have that threshold, and as it slowly begins to deteriorate, you start to slowly have a problem. So let's see if I can see. Also, this is the updated rule that when this came out, this is when they introduced their heavy weapons. Heavy weapons do 2 damage, but you may not attack with any other weapon, spell, or item that turn, so you only get 1 attack per round, and heavy weapons need to be used with 2 hands. Also, the initiative rule is in here, where you roll initiative. You roll 5 or 6, you go before the creatures. If you don't roll a success, then you go after, and it is cyclical. However, I go through, I like to roll at the beginning of every combat round, just to keep the tactics going. All right. So yeah, I was just looking for the corruption rules, just so you have an idea of what we're talking about here. Gaming in the mythos. Yes, here we go. You can't win the game. You can't win the game because that's cosmic horror for you. But that's, of course, suspended with pulp rules, but I'm not playing pulp rules, so we'll see. And you can't leave the game. It's funny. All right. Enemies. There's Tiny Pulp, which I'm not using. Tiny Noir, not using that either. Where's the corruption? Oh, corruption test 8. Thank you. Wow. Guess table of contents is there for a reason, folks. So it's a special kind of save test. Corruption presents psyche, body caused by toxic presence, mythos creatures. Each character has a corruption threshold. As this pool decreases, the character becomes more. Okay, so if the rule refers to a save test, It does not apply to corruption test. The inverse is also true. If a rule refers to corruption test, does not apply to save tests. It goes special kind of save tests, corruption tests. And each archetype has corruption threshold rating. Whenever that test is failed, the investigator loses 1d6 days as madness overtakes his mind. You can forgo this madness by electing to lose a corruption point. When all the corruption points are gone, they have lost their mind, must be given into a mental institution. So you can either, fail the test. Instead of losing a piece of corruption, you can go for 1 to 6 days. However, that is going to be the one house rule I'm going to use in this, is that I am looking for, I think 1 to 6 days, even I'm not even playing a pulp, I think that just would kind of derail the story. So, I mean, I get it. I understand why it's in the rules, but I'm not going to use it. So what I've decided to do is there is a table that I got from, I believe, the Cthulhu hack for temporary insanity. I could just have them go temporary insanity, but I think that might even be a little too rules crunchy for what I want to do. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to say that they, if they don't want to spend a corruption point, they are going to be temporarily rattled, I guess. I don't want to use the word insane. So temporarily rattled, and every test they make is going to be made at disadvantage for 1d3 hours. So I'll roll and see how long that takes. So in game time, how long they are going to remain rattled and take disadvantage on all tests. We're going to see how that works out. I've never play tested it, but I think it feels right to me. And plus, there'll be less record keeping. Or they can just spend the corruption point and go with it, so, and not have to worry about it. So that's how that's going to work in this game. So that's the only house rule that I know of. Oh, beyond my initiative. If they do get into combat, then that initiative is going to be, I will roll at the beginning of every round instead of it being cyclical. Okay, so let's take a look at which characters are going to be going on this adventure. So as you know, those of you long-time viewers of my channel, you know that I like to play 4 characters. So we're going to choose 4 characters. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 characters. So I have a D8 here somewhere. Dig out a D8. No D8 there. D8 in here. No D8 in there. Okay, so maybe... Oh, nope, I do have a D8. Okay, so let's get out a D8. And see which of these 4 characters happens. So... you know what? Let's do this. Let's do this for fun. We'll lay them out here. Make sure they're on camera. So I have the pre-generated characters that I bring out for when I'm introducing people to the game. But I leave their names blank so that the players can name them themselves, just so they have a little bit of agency in their character. So they're going to name them. So this is what we're looking at, and I'll have their names by the time I get to episode 1, since this is episode 0. All right, so we got our 8 characters here. We have an investigator, a veteran, an investigator, a dilettante, a mystic, an investigator, investigator. I like investigators, you notice? All right, so let's see. Here we go. All right, so we're going to roll D8. That'll be our first character. So we rolled a 2, so that's going to be our veteran. So that's good. We're going to have a little bit of muscle in the group. Okay, now that there's 7 left, we'll do 8. So we'll have to re-roll. Oh wait, 1. No, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, so we'll take this professor. He's an investigator. All right, now we're down to a D6. Okay. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and now we got like a detective. So we have a veteran, a professor, and a detective. And for our final one, so let's see what we got here. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I'll re-roll 6s. 4. So we have a mystic. Okay, so that's an interesting group of characters. And then I'll have these other ones off to the side. If these folks get killed in the course of an investigation, maybe I can bring in another one to kind of fill in their holes, the hole in the roster. All right, so I will name them. I guess I can name them now on screen. Let's do that. All right, so our veteran is Archibald Sneed. Archibald Sneed. And his friends will call him Archie or Sneed. Archibald Sneed will be our veteran. Veteran of World War... Oh, yeah, this is going to be based in 1920, so veteran of World War I. This is going to be a Dr. Phineas Abercrombie. Alrighty. And our detective is going to be Clark let's go with Clark Chandler, in honor of Raymond Chandler. All right. And then our mystic is going to be Felicity. I'm feeling the name Felicity. Felicity Farrow. Holy moly, how do you spell Farrow? Oh my gosh. Oh well, that's how she spells it. Wow, it's been a while since I had to spell that word. All right, so there's a mystic. Let's see if she has spells starting out. I don't have them on her character sheet. Maybe it's not spells at all. Mystic may choose to reroll a failed corruption test. However, if they fail again, they lose 2 corruption instead. Additionally, they choose to lose 1 corruption and ignore disadvantage, gain advantage on a test related to cult or magic. Yeah, so she could end up finding spells, but she's not going to start with them. All right, cool. All right, so that is our party of investigators. And based on the adventure, that one is going to be... Yeah. I think that one is going to be our best bet. So that is going to be the adventure they're going to be doing. I'm not going to give it away as to what it is. You'll just have to tune in to the next episode, to session 1, to figure out which one it is. All right. Well, gamers, thank you so much for watching. And I hope you're looking forward to this culmination of my stroll down the Tiny D6 system. I will be revisiting Tiny D6 eventually sometime in the future. But for now, I think I'm going to end with Tiny Cthulhu, and then I have a plan as to what I'm going to do in the video there. And then after that, I'm going to be running a series that is going to feature my Delves and Dangers role-playing game, because I am releasing the Definitive Edition. And I'm going to want to play some games using the Definitive Edition, and also showing all of you folks what that Definitive Edition is and does. Okay, so that is that. If you have any questions about the campaign or about the rules or about this game, go ahead and leave your questions in the comments. So thank you so much for watching. Come back next time for the beginning of the adventure. And until next time, keep on rolling dice and playing games. Mage Hammer out.